Dying words I bury every day. Nothing to say. I've got nothing to say. Some say my words are out of balance. Nothing to say. I've got nothing to say. Dying words, I bear them every day. Nothing to say. I've got nothing to say. Some say my words are out of balance. Nothing to say. I've got nothing to say. Dying words I bury every day. I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to say. Welcome to another episode of the Apocalypse, all one of you. So good to see you again. I was very tired and I was going to sleep the rest of the evening. But then I thought of a woman named Katarzyna Celestina. If you do not know who Katarzyna Celestina is, you better ask someone. I thought of her struggle and her effort to the last. And I said, all I'm giving up is some sleep. And I have to remind you, since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. Forgive me, I'm a little ill, a little under the weather. I may be a little slow. I did a video earlier called A1 or AI, or is it called A1 or AI? It's about children being taught via AI instead of human teachers, and how a Reich-style government or dictatorship could use that to indoctrinate the masses starting from, age 5. And if you do that for a couple generations, you'd basically have rewritten history in your image or how you want it to be. And you will have indoctrinated an entire society worth of human beings. And that damage would take generations to undo. So that's the danger of it. And it reminded me of Alexander Dugan, the crazy sociopath in Russia, who's basically just a Nazi fascist. That's his basic ideology, despite the 1,000 words he writes, despite the pseudo-intellectual or wise guru type image people ascribe to him. He's just another old bitter man who's down with Nazism. And I'm sorry, any any coalescence or any sympathy for Nazism by anyone, I can't take you seriously because there's no wisdom in that sun. It's pure Satan, pure evil. A few of the things you are espousing or endorsing, if you dare throw up a Nazi salute or speak in favor of the Nazis, is gassing people en masse, hundreds of people a day, killing them, exterminating human beings. Just that alone is enough for me to not want to be part of the movement or make it a religion or ever want to talk about it or ever want to hear anyone talk about it or promote it in any fucking way. It should be shunned from our very modern society in every way possible. Sympathy for Nazism. So that's all I see. These people, they all think they're intellectual. They all think they're wise. Several of them have a lot of money, so that makes them an automatic guru because their bank account has billions of dollars in it. That doesn't make someone a guru in my experience in this plane of existence. In fact, most people that have that kind of money are abject douchebags I would not want to be around for 5 seconds. Because they don't live in the same world I live in. They live in a very privileged, almost godlike world where they kind of think they are gods. They want to try and be gods, a lot of them. I mean, when you have that much money and influence and control over society, and you can buy anything you want, I mean, people, anything you want. What else is there but, oh, I have to control the world via my crazy philosophies. And if they don't want to go along, I have to subjugate them into it just like Hitler did. That's these people. That's all they think, despite the million ways they try and dress it up into some pseudo-intellectual modern political philosophy. It's all bullshit. It's just Nazism repackaged. There's no creativity here. These aren't creative people. Obviously, if they made their religion Nazism or pseudo-Nazism, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So the Dugan Manifesto, I talked about that and how he said that AI is the future of everything. It's the most important thing. But we have to make it in the anti-liberal image. And I want everyone to remember, I'm going to say this a million times. I've said it a million times over the years. Under Hitler's Germany, the first people that got locked up were the liberals, socialists, communists, those types of people, trade unionists, those types of people. Okay? So it's really hard to ascribe fascism to socialists and liberals. I'm sorry. And as far as China and Russia, if you want to say, well, they're communism and that's bad. No, they're not communism. They're dictatorship. Total control over every aspect of your life has nothing to do with communism. It has to do with a fascist ideology, not a let's live as a commune ideology. If they were living as a commune, little children, in Russia and in China, Mr. Xi wouldn't have $17 trillion living next to, with 5 miles away, a peasant with nothing. Do you get that? Commune style living is not what they are doing in China. Otherwise, there wouldn't be filthy rich people and dirt poor peasants with nothing. In Russia, the same thing. If they were living commune style, there would be no rich people, no poor people. Vlad wouldn't have $17 trillion, and the average Russian male wouldn't have $5. Do you understand how that works? That's not a commune. That's a dictatorship where the dictator and the government just steals what they want. It has nothing to do with communism and sharing the resources with the people. No. So let's take a look at this, because I wanted to find this again, and it was hard to find because I forgot to put Leon's name in the search. I just put Trumpo Futurism, Alexander Dugan, stuff like that, because I have it way back in my photos, but I have about 17 million photos on this fucking device. So it's hard to find things. So I was able to find it later after my initial attempt because I put Leon's name in as well. Came right up. That's all I had to add. That magic musk spice to the search. You can also substitute Elon Musk for the word douche and bag, and the same results come up. It's amazing. Anyway, this is Alexander Dugan's literal page I went to when I searched it. Trumpo-futurism, that's hyphenated. Dark freedom theory. Dark freedom, they call it. Golden age, golden era, Donnie calls it. What kind of dark and dark gold and dark AI generated videos and dark weird ladies worshiping paintings as they're painting like a witch or something. I'll get to that later. Wow. Okay, Trumpo-futurism, dark freedom theory, Alexander Dugan. And he puts the pretty picture. When it's just Nazism. What is post-liberalism? It's not that long. There is conventional left version. You really should be reading this in a Russian accent. I've tried earlier. Wallerstein, Trotskyism, Negrahart, global anarchism, cultural Marxism, and hyper-globalization. It is obvious that J.D. Vance, Thale, Musk, and other Trump futurists mean something quite different when they use the term. Well, they're the ones that want no borders and regional oligarchies where they can just pull the cheapest labor from wherever that regional oligarchy resides. That's the plan. You know that, right? That's why they want the no borders. They're not truly isolationists as they kind of present themselves. That's kind of where I think Dugan is going too. I don't consider that isolationism. That's globalism, in my opinion, because you're erasing borders and just making regional oligarchies that extend from fucking Greenland to South America. So you can get all the cheap labor, normalize it. You don't got to worry about laws or border crossings anymore. You just pull the cheapest labor from wherever you can to man the Vietnamese style factories that Nutlick says they're going to build here. That's what they want. That's globalism, in my opinion. Maybe Alex Jones would disagree. Maybe you would too. But I look at these people as globalists, the people that Alex Jones warned you all about, warned us all about. Meanwhile, he's utterly participating in the globalist Reich, where they want no fucking borders so they can pull workers from fucking Guatemala or whatever to man the Vietnamese style factories while the rest of us starve. Anyway, let's continue with the manifesto. So post-liberal right, what does it mean? Easiest way to decipher the notion is to reduce it to previous, more conservative, less progressist, pre-woke stage of the same liberalism. My God, this guy's ridiculous. I guess the majority of Trump's voters instinctively interpret that like this. I think that doesn't cover the whole issue. Post-liberal right should be more interesting and provocative, more innovative and creative. The Trumpo-futurism has to be something really new, not just some relative correction of excesses of woke liberal agenda, but it's not a correction of the liberal agenda. It's Nazism. That's what they're doing. And that's what he's espousing with all these fancy words when you just boil it all down. Oh my God. He's presenting this as what the movement that's going on now is a correction of the liberal agenda, taking books about the Holocaust out of the Naval Library. That's correction of the liberal agenda, the woke liberal agenda, to acknowledge slavery, the Holocaust, all that stuff. That's woke, right? No, that's reality, son. Woke doesn't exist. That's a buzzword for rubes. And Dugan knows that because he thinks you're all stupid and he can manipulate you with bullshit like this Trumpo fucking futurism. Have you ever heard such ridiculous bullshit? And this person thinks they're wise. Other people follow his philosophies and agree with them. When it's nothing but Nazism again. I don't see any correction of the evil liberalism that's taken over the world. All I see is another Nazi Reich forming where they're just going to steal countries like Adolf Hitler did and steal their resources to add it to the Reich. And it's obvious that's what they're going to do. They're staging to take the Suez. They talked about today taking the Panama Canal again. I don't see any wisdom, son. I just see, oh, I got a big stick. I'm going to go whack some people and steal what they have. That's what I see. That's Adolf Hitler. Annexation talk. Threatening your neighbors. Blitzkrieg. So there's no wisdom here. And this movement where it's taking everyone, I don't know if Mr. Dugan realizes the full implications of the monster he helped create. I don't think Vlad does either. I don't think Leon does. None of them do. Donnie does, though. He knows what he's going to do. And I see the shock on everyone else's face in the room as they have to do their little performance in fealty of him. Donnie knows exactly what he's going to do. And it's ugly. And all the people that have a hold of his leash, again. And people that helped create him, like Mr. Dugan. I don't think they know the beast that they created. I don't think they're ready to deal with the repercussions. The monster they helped create and they're promoting is going to do to them and the world. They have no fucking idea. They think it's all going to be roses for them. Well, Leon the other night was just crying on a video game live stream because everyone was making fun of him in a very vicious manner. That's the light shit, man. That's going to happen as a result of Leon helping manufacture this current version of the beast we have. And, everyone thinks they can control the dragon, the junkyard dog, and people like Mr. Dugan, I have a feeling they're going to be weeping when they really see what they've created. Liberals irritate with their dictatorship attitude. They prescribe to the societies everything, what to think, how to be. So liberals tell society how to be. That's basically what he's saying, how to think. Woke dictates you have to be woke and transgender friendly, otherwise you will be punished. In general, they prescribe future. Okay, so what are we supposed to do to transgenders when we see them? What would Mr. Dugan like to do with them? Where's he going with this? Oh, I know where he's going. Death camps, that's where he's going with this. They always go there with shit like this. Transgender friendly. Okay, what's transgender not friendly look like? We get to attack them because they're transgender or something? Physically, throw them in a camp, arrest them, shun them from society. What do we do with them? Where's this going? You know where it's going. Liberals dictate the meaning of progress, its path and goal. No, good outcomes dictate the meaning of progress. For instance, GOP politics, right-wing politics, giving all the money to the rich via tax cuts for wealthy people, and, a pittance of a tax cut for the poor. That's not progress. It doesn't get us anywhere. It just gets more money in a few select families' pockets. That's it. That's what progress is, son, no matter what letters attached to it. despite what Mr. Dugan, the Nazi, is saying here. The educated Nazi, who's quite wordy. Their version of AI, he goes right to AI. So there's an agenda in this piece of writing. Their version of AI is the projection of their own ideological standards. Really? I thought AI was just a search tool, basically. Where's AI going to get its knowledge from? Unless it's pre-programmed to troll or something, which it's been for 20 years. It's going to get its knowledge from internet searches and interactions with people on the internet. So it would just find available information the same way we all do doing internet searches and form an opinion based on that. And then it would present it to you. It has nothing to do, it's not, in other words, the AI isn't programmed to be liberal. It would just pull from the world what it finds. Unless it's programmed not to, like when Leon programmed Grok, I think, not to pull up his name or Donnie's name for the biggest spreaders of misinformation. Because when you did that search via Grok would come back with the answer, well, Donnie Shitbags and Leon Scum are the two purveyors via what I'm finding and seeing of misinformation. Leon's own AI, I told you, no one talks more shit on Leon than his own AI. But let's get back to this. So yes, no one has programmed the AI to look at the world in a certain way except for Leon so far that I've learned. Like I said, Leon and Donnie programmed it to not pull up their names during that specific search. I've never heard of anyone else program the AI specifically in that manner for straight up censorship purposes, like a test run or something. So I don't agree with this premise that he's talking about either, but he's going to go into a premise of where we need to control what the AI, how the AI views the world. We need to put our Nazi bias into the AI. So the AI isn't giving people woke liberal information, aka the truth. Because woke, again, is a buzzword for rubes, and Dugan knows that. Leon knows that. So I uses it so much. Because it works on you fools. And you know who I'm talking to, not everybody. Okay, their version of AI is the projection of their own ideological standards. No, this whole piece of writing is projection by Mr. Dugan because he's the one that wants AI programmed in his image. My God, the projection with these people. Donnie Shitbags, Leon, they literally tell you what they're doing via their projection at you when they accuse you of something. I mean, almost every single time. Good to be queer, woke, ecocentric. I mean, yeah, why care about the environment, right? Fuck it. Throw some oil sludge over there. Throw some fucking coal waste over there. Let's dump shit in the oceans. Why be eco-conscious or ecocentric or anything? Why don't we just take a shit on each other's front lawns, too? I mean, freedom, motherfucker. You don't want to be woke, do you? You don't want to be liberal, do you? I want to be free. So if I'm going to shit on your front lawn, I want to be able to shit on your front lawn. Otherwise, you're being woke. You're being liberal. You're inhibiting my freedoms. Ecocentric. Antifa. Oh, you mean anti-fascist, Mr. Dugan? Is that what you mean? Because there's no group called Antifa. It's an idea, again. Anti-fascism. You know what Hitler was, what Dugan is, what he'd love to be. Whew. Anti-male, anti-normal, anti-strong. No. I mean, these are all just ridiculous notions. And The anti-male, anti-normal. I'm sorry, I don't find Nazism normal or male or anything. In fact, a lot of the top Nazis were gay. Uh, a lot of the top people in here are gay. In this movement. Who knows about Mr. Dugan? Because they seem to really not like women. And again, I'm not saying all gay men don't like women, but these gay men really don't like women. They really don't like women. They make it obvious. That's in the story as well, people. That this thing, this beast person, does not like women. Doesn't mean they're gay. It means they just hate women. But coincidentally, a lot of the people are gay. Again, Thale, Musk seems a little effeminate to me. Whatever. I just don't get the woman hatred. If you want to be gay, whatever, that's your life, man. But I don't get the woman hatred. Before I read the story, I totally understand it based on my knowledge of the story. And by the story, I mean the apocalypse, Revelation. That actually, the God of Women part's probably in another book, maybe Daniel or something, I can't remember. But they're both the same story. They're both about the end of all this. And again, that doesn't mean the earth's going to blow up. So anti-fascism is a problem. They say liberals are anti-male, anti-normal, anti-strong. No, they're anti-Nazi. That's what really bothers you people, isn't it? Liberals are anti-white supremacy and anti-Nazi. That's why the liberals of the day, 1939, got locked up first. You get how that works? It's actually, man, this is going to break your mind. You ready for this? It's actually the liberal ideology that is anti-fascist and anti-Nazi. Therefore, who will most likely get locked up first in the new Reich? Well, it's probably going to be liberals, right? Because that's who got locked up first in the old Reich. So what does that also mean? That also means, like I've been saying for such a long time, that right-wing politics in general is the closest thing to fascism and Nazism that I've ever seen. And it's abject right in our face. And racism is an obvious part of the platform. Every step of the way. It always has been. And I'm not talking back in Lincoln's fucking day. I'm talking about in the modern era. The past fucking 100 years. That's what the right-wing movement has been. It's been a nationalist movement. And again, now we're at the maximum expression of it. It's funny how it leapt to Nazism. It's fascinating. If you know exactly what the future should be, has to look like you have no future. Prescribed future is not future. It is already the past. So they're saying the liberal programming of the AI and what the liberals have done to society, he's prescribing what the future is already going to be. We already know what it's going to be. He's saying we need a new future, I guess. It is already the past. Future is either open or there is no future. Well, how is Nazism open? That's old, tired bullshit from the 1930s, cunt. What's new about that, son? That's all he's talking about. But they like to dress it up in fancy words and pretenses like this to get you all inspired and make you think you're part of something new. When, again, I saw Leon do a Nazi salute, and he's mentioned in this piece of writing, I think at some point in the beginning, I think he was. So what's new about the Nazi salute? What's different, creative, and futuristic about that? Absolutely nothing. It's actually a huge step backwards, and it's a slap in the motherfucking face to every American that died taking that cunt out. Adolf Hitler, I'm talking about. Storming beaches on, damn near suicide missions, facing machine guns, downrange, downhill. A lot of men died just getting their, the feet on the ground, let alone after that point. Every person that voted for this, every person that's participating in this, every person that has their name on this is slapping the face of every one of those men and women that died taking out Hitler. Anyway, I digress way too fucking much. Future is either open or there is no future. That is the problem. Liberals led us into dead-end impasse. Really? Because now we're going to go back to Nazism. That sounds like an impasse to me. And it had the world in ruins, burning, bombed out cities all over the place. The whole world at war. People being exterminated. What was beautiful about that? Nothing. Liberals led us into dead-end impasse. They are real conservatives. So the liberals are the conservatives. Post-liberal right wants to try once more to make leap into the future. It wants to overcome liberalism as obstacle. That is the struggle to open the future, to make it open, unprescribed. That is who Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are. There is the term dark accelerationism. Leon Scum is the Nazi salute guy. Thiel is the guy that talks about a middle ground between the apocalypse and not the apocalypse. And total grew up in a school where they, in a town, in an area where they openly Sieg Heiled each other, in South Africa, where he went to school as a young boy. Again, there's nothing new here. There's a lot of fancy words by a professor type individual that's read a lot of books, obviously. But all this just boils down to, again, Leon gave the game away, as if we didn't know already, but he gave the game away when he did a Nazi fucking salute in front of the entire universe. So Thiel can do his little interviews and dress this up, and Dugan can dress this up, and Leon can dress this up, and Donnie can dress this up. But it's just Nazism, son. That's all it is. There's nothing creative here. I told you that in the last video. These aren't creative, talented people. They just made Nazism a religion because several of them grew up in South Africa, in an area, white South Africa, where Nazism was celebrated. It was part of the fucking culture. A lot of ex-Nazis went there. In other words, the community, before it even began, had the idea at its core, this will be, a white supremacist Nazi community, as loud as we can be without stirring up too much trouble. Funny how, apartheid happened and all that. With descendants of Nazis. Interesting, isn't it? So the religion survived, unfortunately. Dark accelerationism, as if this is some beautiful thing, a future unprescribed. No, this already happened, you worthless cunts. And I'm talking about these people. Musk, Thiel, Dugan. It was called Nazi Germany. It's nothing new. There's no wisdom here. What means dark in dark accelerationism? It means not illuminated, not woke, rose, eco. It is male accelerationism, strong and hard. What's Dugan into? Trumpo-futurism demands special AI. Now he gets to the point of what he's really saying. Without woke censorship, dark AI. That means totally open, unprescribed, unpredictable, free. No, that's not what he means. He means with his bias, Leon's bias, Donnie's bias, Thale's bias. What's their bias? Nazism. That's their bias. So welcome to the new post-liberal era of real freedom, era of dark freedom. Liberals are concerned that AI can turn fascist. No, it can be programmed fascist, son. Just like Leon programmed Grok to not have his name and Donnie's name come up for that search result anymore because it's so fucking embarrassing. And they prevent it from all their forces. Doing so, they become fascists themselves. We need to liberate AI from liberals. I don't hear of liberals saying we need to program AI to be woke like us. I've never heard anyone say that. The only thing I do hear is this sociopath from Russia dressing Nazism up and saying, we need AI to be open and free. It already is. Why do you think Leon's Grok talks abject shit on him? It's because it's open and free. No one has fucked with it yet. But that one time, when Leon and Donnie's name was coming up, search after search of who are the biggest spreaders of disinformation online, Leon and Donnie's name came up. Every search immediately, all the time. Quite embarrassing, wouldn't you say? That's because Grok is free and open right now. It doesn't have a liberal bias. It's just stating reality. Except for when Leon programmed it that one time to make the search results not come up. Those two names, specifically Leon and Donnie. This is verified. I'm not talking rumor and innuendo here. This is verified that Grok was altered to do that. That one time. I think they changed it back because they got caught. So my point is, although Dugan is trying to present the idea that the liberals have tampered with AI and the AI will go forth with a liberal woke mindset. No, you people think liberal woke or liberal woke in your context you're presenting it means the truth. That's what you need hidden. You know, the fact that the majority of the Republican Party took part in a coup. That type of shit needs to go away. That's what you're worried about. And when you take books like about the Holocaust away, burn them, ban them, whatever, you don't want AI pointing shit like that out. This women are second-class citizens. You don't want AI pointing that out. That's what he really means. Because when Leon says woke, when Donnie says woke, when Dugan says woke, you can replace that with equals the truth. We can't have AI telling the truth. That's what he should have wrote there. And he knows exactly what he's saying here. And he dresses up really pretty as if it's something beautiful when all they are is Nazis. So this idea that he's presenting one more time so I can hopefully move the fuck on. I didn't mean to spend this much time on this. He's presenting you the idea, the rubes as well, that the evil liberals have programmed AI to be woke. And we need to unwoke AI. No, they don't want to unwoke AI. They want to unreality AI. Where the AI only spits out Reich-approved material. And by Reich, I mean Leon, Donnie, Dugan, Thale, those types of people. Male-centric, a lot of them are gay. They really don't like women in any respect. Not even to have sex with. Andrew Tate, again, they seem to really like that guy. Andrew Tate is said that he doesn't have sex with women for pleasure. No straight man would ever say that, son. I'm sorry. So they need the AI made in their image. And the reason I presented this to you again, I wanted to show you how people like Dugan dress up Nazism into this beautiful philosophy of dark AI bullshit. I had forgotten he presents his philosophy, or his thesis is that the evil liberals have stolen AI from us, and they've made it woman centric and transgender centric and woke and anti-fascism and anti-male. We can't have that. We got to change it back to Nazi. That's the idea he's presenting to you. No, what he really means is right now AI is giving you real facts when you do a search or ask it a question. I'm not talking about bots sent out by Mr. Zuckerberg or Leon or whatever public relations firm wants to troll me next week. Those are pre-programmed, pre-response bots. I'm talking about real AI. The regular AI that you can buy or whatever, that is just telling the truth right now. It doesn't have a bias. What Mr. Dugan is really saying is we need to give it a bias, our bias, where it hates women, it hates minorities. It's okay if we exterminate Jews and whoever we feel like. It only spouts Reich propaganda. And then the worst part of all, the reason I read you this, all the teachers are fired or gotten rid of because they've been demonizing teachers on the right for decades now. And again, we're at the maximum expression. After they've done this to AI and made it in their image, everything described here, then it's going to teach your children we won't need human instructors anymore. Couple generations, 2, 3, they're all thinking this is normal. A bitter old man in Russia who sounds like a bad, I don't know, B-movie script in a Russian accent. Some weirdo's manifesto. With terms like Trumpo-futurism again. But again, terms like Trumpo-futurism are for the rubes. Dugan is smarter, Thale, Leon, Donnie. They know what they're trying to achieve. And it ain't this beautiful thing of freedom and a free AI. They want a biased AI. That's what they're looking for. That's the whole premise of Dugan's piece of writing here as well. They need to put a bias on AI. That's what he's literally saying. We can't let it be woke. In other words, we can't let it tell the truth. It's funny how you rubes, again, are so malleable that they replaced the word truth with the word woke. And you ran with it as if it's a thing. It's fascinating. I just wish you people weren't so easy. We might still have a country. All right, now that I've spent a fucking year on that, and I shouldn't have. Now let's go to the headlines quickly. I'm going to go through them. Yesterday, the stock market magically rebounded because Donnie announced that he's pulling back most of the tariffs for 90 days, except for the China ones, which he increased, which is suicide, but whatever. So people are commenting on that. This is the biggest pump and dump scheme in the history of the world. Indeed, every time Donnie does this, he's done this about 3 or 4 times in 2.5 months, where he slaps tariffs and then he takes them away the next day or a couple days after that, and manipulates the market utterly. And obviously, people make a bunch of trades and make billions in that space of time, in between when he slaps the tariffs off and slaps the tariffs on and then shuts them off. So that's why people are making comments like that. Even Darth Putin is talking shit. Thank you for your attention in this pump and dump scheme to Donnie's comment when he took the tariffs off. So even Darth Putin, who knows all and sees all, is talking shit Everyone knows what this is. We've seen it again 4 or 5 times just in this administration. Let's not even talk about his first term and all the market manipulation he did then. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm going to smoke. This woman, okay? I posted in the post section for you good people. A woman up on a stage, it's obviously some type of church performance in front of a crowd who are there to worship or watch what she's doing. And in a very kind of witchy, disturbing manner, she's up on a stage with a giant canvas and a cocktail dress with cutouts, painting a picture, and she's doing all these wild hand gestures with the brushes, and she's making a performance out of it, and eventually she puts her arms out as if she's like worshiping or receiving, like, you know, instruction from God as she's painting. This is some, you know, glorious divine event. This artist up on the stage dancing with the paintbrushes, and eventually comes out a picture of Donnie with a church steeple with a cross with a flaming sky, as if it's, I don't know, fucking Armageddon or something. That's the end result here. That ain't light. That ain't a sunrise. I don't know what the fuck that is. This is some disturbing ass shit. And it was obviously a promotional video that was shot at some location with a crowd. And it showed people like in the crowd as this woman was doing this in like ecstasy, like, you know, some miracle moment, some message from God. And the message was, guess what? Donnie. Who is making these things? Who is promoting the worship of a man? What churches are doing that? Who financed this? Because it took some money. This wasn't cheap. You know, it had glorious music in the background. And I don't know, I have to be honest, you know, I have a little experience in this area. It seemed a little satanic to me. Just a little bit. Just between me and you. Don't tell nobody, though. It reminded me of the Donnie Trump Gaza commercial. I got the same vibe. Very evil vibe. So I don't know who's financing this stuff. I don't know who's putting it out. This woman who did the performance, fucking disturbing. And I'm into God. Like, I actually believe in God. And I didn't find this cool. I found it quite disturbing. I don't care if there's a bunch of crosses and people with phones taking pictures as if the glory of the Lord is upon them. And this is some divine inspired painting that just came out of nothingness. I don't care what they're presenting. That's not what I see. I see satanic as fuck, son, between me and you. So again, I put it in the post section. I put the link so you could watch the video. It's quite disturbing. I told you worship was a big part of this. That's why I'm telling you about side things like this that you may think aren't that important. To this thing, it's very important. And I've picked out several things to show that. To this orange maniac thing. Worship is important. his round table cabinet meetings where they're all kissing his ass and presenting their info to the Fuhrer. Quite disturbing as well. They're getting more disturbing by the day, the little performances by each member. Which one can deliver the most, evil information to the Fuhrer that will outrage the peasants the most and make them realize that they're subjugated finally. It's quite disturbing. Hearing Hegseth give his used car salesman pitches regarding what military movements we're making at the moment that we didn't hear about. Quite disturbing. It's very strange. I don't like it. It has a very Reich kind of feeling to it. And Donnie has a very, what I didn't know, I watched a clip of Hitler today shaking at the Olympics in 1936. That's what they labeled it. Hitler only really got into government in 1933. I didn't know within 3 years, even before 1939, he was already a kind of Parkinson's mess on drugs. My point is, Donnie seems kind of a mess in these cabinet meetings. He's not shaking around on speed like Hitler was, but he's off. It's quite disturbing watching it all play out. And it's happening daily. And, I have to ask you, is this normal on a stage in front of people with worship music and people at, glory of God and all that? And this woman just happened to paint this, right? This wasn't pre-planned that she was going to paint a picture of Donnie, right? It was inspired of God, right? In the moment, she had no idea what she was going to paint, right? I guarantee that's how she presents herself. I guarantee it. I don't even need to research her. This was just divinely inspired of God, right? No. This is a fucking performance. And if it was inspired of anything, it was inspired of Satan. And it was quite fucking disturbing. And again, you've got that. You've got, the flaming sky with the cross burning and Donnie and the crazy woman dancing with the paintbrushes. And you've got the Gaza commercial with 40-foot gold Donnie statues. Again, this thing, he requires worship. And he's going to require it more and more to the point where you're going to have to denounce something else in service of worshiping him. That point will come. And that's the no going back point for everyone, depending on what choice they make. Anyway, let me move on. I'm taking way too long here. The Department of Homeland Security will begin screening visa applicants' social media content for anti-Semitic activity, it announced on Wednesday. So anyone they label anti-Semitic even, you don't even have to commit a crime. Your visa will be turned down if you have views that are contrary to Israel. I'm more sympathetic to Israel itself, not Netanyahu. I don't like him at all. He's going to be the downfall of Israel, actually. The literal downfall. It's going to happen, I'm sorry. But I also believe in the Constitution and fairness. And I don't expect everyone to share my exact views. And I don't want to punish people for not sharing my exact views. But let me put a caveat on that. Nazism are not views. They are something that needs to be stomped out of society forever. I'm talking about real views. The Palestinians do have a fucking argument if they have nothing else. And I have to acknowledge that. There have been things done to them. They have done things to the Israelis. But they have an argument. So I understand Muslim people being angry at Israel and venting their frustrations in a political way, not a terroristic way or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. In a political, fair way, putting their views forth on Israel without threatening any kind of violence or anything. They have the right to do that, and that should not be held against them on a visa application. I'm sorry. That should not mean because they posted something on social media anti-Israel, they should not lose their visa if they're already here. They should not be thrown out of their school. Again, we are allegedly a society based on freedom of speech. So, in my opinion, it just shouldn't be held against them on their visa applications. Um, it shouldn't be grounds to deport them and take their visas away and throw them out of college. I don't agree with that either. I believe in free speech to a degree. And the degree, my cutoff is Nazism. That's where I don't tolerate that ideology in any way, shape, or form. That's not an opinion. That's Satan's son. Whether you realize it or not, or even believe there is a Satan. Trust me, there is, one. Two, Nazism is pure Satan. Donnie, yesterday we were up close to 3,000 points. Nobody has ever seen a day like that. I think that's a record, isn't it, fellas? Nutlick jumps in. Definitely, sir. Definitely. It's a record. After you set the fire, we put half of it out. It's a record, sir. It's a record. And here's some comments about this whole premise that Donnie performed a miracle yesterday by getting the market up 2,500 points, 3,000 points, something like that, after he tanked at 6,000. On purpose, intentionally. This is like pushing someone overboard on a ship, then throwing them a life preserver and wanting credit for saving their life. Yeah. In other words, Donnie literally was the only actual cause of the problem. And now he's taking credit for solving the problem that he literally created. He's done this over and over again in the first term. He's done it several times already in this term. And, you can make a lot of money in the market knowing exactly when tariffs get slapped on and turned off. You can make, billions, son, billions on one trade. This is like shitting your pants to get out of something you didn't want to do and then going to do it with your pants full of shit anyway. This is one of the greatest analogies I've ever heard in my life. And they fucked up the wording a little bit. I had to alter it. I know what they meant. They wrote, this is like shitting your pants for getting out of something. No. This is like shitting your pants to get out of something. That's what they meant to say. To get out of something you didn't want to do and then going to do it with your pants full of shit anyway. And it's also relevant because Donnie actually does shit his pants and he wears diapers. So it has relevance, and it's one of the most fucking creative analogies I've ever heard in my fucking life. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. And Donnie, he has attended events with pants full of shit, so he's actually had to live this thing. I'm going. Oh, wait a minute. I got a little problem here. Maybe I'll just go anyway. This cigarette should help. Here's Donnie with Iran. If it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. So there's Donnie telling you what he's going to do. And this is from yesterday again. Iran will be attacked by the U.S. and Israel at some point. Because, again, they keep telling us every day, every minute, what they're going to do ahead of time. And then they slowly creep towards that goal. And then one day they do it. And I have a feeling one morning we're going to wake up. We're going to find that our Navy has surrounded Greenland. We've seized the Panama Canal via military force. We've seized the Suez. We've got naval ships off the coast of Canada or something threatening them. I have a feeling we're going to wake up to that one morning. So Donnie telling you in advance that we are going to get in a little war with Iran and Israel will be involved. Just to let you know. Oh, this is the head of Immigration and Customs yesterday. His name is Tom Homan. I'll show you a picture in a moment. And he has great philosophies like this. We need to get better at treating this like a business. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons said, explaining he wants to see a deportation process like Amazon Prime, but with human beings. Lyons was one of a series of Trump administration speakers at the 2025 Border Security Expo Convention Center, including Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, and Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Yes, the leader of Immigration and Customs Enforcement said his dream for the agency is squads of trucks rounding up immigrants for deportation, the same way that Amazon trucks crisscross American cities delivering packages. Wow. Wow. And this is Tom Homan. And now I'm not sure if he said it or his assistant said it. Border czar. This is about the stock market yesterday. Again, what happened is actually massive. They all stared down the barrel and the rest of the world said, okay, we'll unload your treasuries, and bond yields spiked. The idea that the U.S. can just push everyone around at will is over. I saw comment after comment like this from people that know the market and are into the economy much more than I am. And what took place, the reason Donnie backed down on the tariffs, and we know it was kind of spur of the moment back down. How do we know that? Because 10 minutes before the announcement, there was a huge spike in trading volume in certain indexes. That means Donnie let some people know. They made their trades. 10 minutes later, Donnie made the announcement that the tariffs were off. The reason Donnie had to had to back down, is because Japan and China hold most of our treasury bonds that are out there. Very important for the value of the dollar. Very important for faith in American currency as a reserve currency going forward. If people sell all the bonds, that means they're losing faith in the dollar. They don't want to hold these treasuries. They don't believe the dollar will be strong in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They've lost faith in the dollar. It makes the value of the dollar go down. It's very bad. Very, very bad. I'm really wondering if Donnie is intentionally trying to devalue the dollar instead of just tanking the economy in general like he just did. I wonder if the point is to devalue the dollar, therefore he can switch us to the shitty Donnie coin. I wonder if that's the plan. So Donnie had to back down because Japan, I believe, started selling treasuries at an alarming rate in retaliation for what Donnie was doing. China was also selling treasuries, and I believe they started doing that again tonight because Donnie made a bunch of more threats today regarding China. And I'll get to some of them. So Japan unloading treasuries one night. China, I think, is unloading treasuries tonight. Not good for us. Not good for us. That's why Donnie had to back down. This is just an old fact that people keep mentioning, and it's true. Donald Trump went to Moscow on the 4th of July, 1987. The 4th of July, you say, Independence Day for our country. When else would he go, right? Remember, a bunch of Republican congressmen did the same thing during Donnie's first administration. They all took a trip for Independence Day to fucking Russia. Well, Donnie beat him to it in 1987. 2 months later, he put out a full-page ads attacking NATO and suggesting we put tariffs on our allies. Same con man, he just switched hair and skin tones over 38 years. And the con involves helping out his boy Vlad and the Russian mob, obviously. If he was spouting tariffs and no NATO all the way back in 1987, shortly after his visit to Moscow, that means that's when he and Vlad decided to get in league and get in bed with each other. For whatever reason, Donnie was out of money. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? All we know is Donnie Krasnov is a straight up fucking traitor. Helping our direct enemy, our greatest enemy that we've had since 1945, Russia. And everyone knows it. And the Republican Party used to really stand for Russia bad, commie bad. Now they take the money. Now they spout the talking points, all the rubes. The same rubes that were spouting Russia bad back in the 80s during Reagan. Now can I get some more Russian money, please? Oh, and I'd rather be Russian than a liberal. You know, our literal enemy. So Donnie Krasnov has been Donnie Krasnov since 1987, it appears. And you people gave him the presidency not once, but twice. Fascinating. All right, this was a discussion about China again, and this really baffled me. I couldn't get the full context of it. But Donnie said in the midst of his statement that I don't think China would do that. So it's either about the tariffs and the trade negotiations with China or Taiwan or something. But Donnie goes into this rant where he says, we're very powerful. This country is very powerful. It's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that no one has any idea what it is. And it's the most powerful weapons in the world that we have. I said this before he got elected. I begged everybody. I said, once he gets the keys, what people don't realize is he'll have access to the most powerful military in the world. Weapons that people can't imagine, just like Donnie is saying right here. And now he's got it and it's too late. I was really hoping he wouldn't get it. Because that's the ability to start World War III. And once I realized fully who he was, I always said he was this since 2015. But once I had that final nail in the coffin proof of who he was, I knew once he got the keys back, it was gonna be World War fucking III. And it's sure looking like it's about to be. Making a lot of threats here, a lot of annexation talk, etc. Oh, this is the reporters asking Donnie why he paused the tariffs yesterday. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause? Trump, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid. No, that's not the truth. They were getting afraid because treasuries were being sold and the dollar was about to take a fucking nosedive. And that was done intentionally to send Donnie a message. You better stop fucking with us via these tariffs, or we're going to dump every U.S. treasury we have. And then China will do the same. And some very rich people would come drag Donnie out of the office by his ear, I'm sure, after that took place. So a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid. That's what Donnie said. People were getting yippy. No, people were selling treasuries, motherfucker. That's what was going on. That's why Donnie had to make a quick move. Let this sink in. More honeybees died last year than any year in history. U.S. commercial beekeepers saw colony losses averaging 62% over the past winter, with up to 70% loss this coming year. If this continues, countless fruits and vegetables that rely on bees will soar in price. Again, bees have been dying for years in horrid numbers, scary numbers, biblical numbers. Now there's been a huge die-off in the last year on top of it, and there's about to be another huge die-off, they're saying. 70% loss this coming year. Really bad for farming and pollinating things. You know, some farmers buy bees from these bee farms to pollinate so their crops can be, come to fruition and be sold. Very fucking important. And they're dying in huge numbers on top of the already huge numbers they were dying. Not good, man. Oh, my cigarette went out. Oh, this is about Ramaswamy. Remember him? I just found this interesting. The group at Mar-a-Lago brainstormed ways to terminate federal workers. One idea was to motivate them to quit by forcing them to return to the office 5 days a week, or as Mr. Ramaswamy suggested, moving civil servants to work on administration priorities like border security. Mr. Ramaswamy predicted to the team that many federal workers would not want to be part of immigration crackdown and would leave government a win-win situation. So Mr. Ramaswamy was helping the government or the future government brainstorm on how to make federal workers miserable, like Elon did to the Twitter workers and is doing to federal workers. Like corporate elitist cunts do to people intentionally. People trying to make a fucking living and support their family. They think it's a big joke. Initiating policies intentionally intended to make workers miserable and quit. That's what Ramaswamy, Leon, and others are discussing here. I call that scumbaggery. And no, I don't classify it as it's just business. I classify it as it's just scumbaggery. Where's Mr. Ramaswamy now? Well, he got hit by some scumbaggery. And the Reich threw the Indian guy out. He wasn't part of the plan. They just used him for a little bit. Because he had a small base of voters they could tap into. Now he's running for governor of like Ohio or some bullshit. Went from way at the top, Doge co-manager, to governor of Ohio. That's what they think of Ramaswamy, who helped them brainstorm ideas to make federal workers miserable. Isn't it beautiful how karma works sometimes? Looks like they found a way to make him miserable enough and make him go away. Because let's be honest, he's not the type of individual the Reich is looking for. And certain others like him, like Mr. Patel, they'll use him for a while till he's no longer useful. I heard Mr. Patel is basically running the FBI from Las Vegas at his sugar daddy's pad. That's what I heard. That's word on the street. He got demoted or he got removed from the head of the ATF. Probably because what I'm hearing, he's phoning it in. Can't really run agencies like that. Yet they want everybody else to come into the office, right? Yeah, good old Ramaswamy. Going to be the next governor of Ohio instead of head of Doge right next to Donnie and Leon. You really thought you had a place there, huh? Huh, Vivek? You never had a place there, son. You sold out your people for nothing, just to be governor of Ohio. Good luck with that endeavor. The Reich no longer needs your services. This I found interesting. Anonymous posted it. The golden calf in Donnie form. We've seen that many times, actually. And you people see that, and you still don't turn away. What a shame. This is about human rights problems in Miami. I mentioned it yesterday, but here's the actual piece of writing. Chrome in the hot seat, and that's Krome. Advocacy group Americans for Immigrant Justice sent a report to the United Nations Human Rights Council listing the egregious human rights abuses of immigrants at Chrome North Service Processing Center in Miami, Florida. The report includes testimonies from immigrants detained in Chrome, including one man who said he and other men had to take turns sleeping, with some men lying down and some men standing because there wasn't enough room for them all to lie down. That's literal torture, in my opinion. Not enough space for a man to even lie the fuck down and sleep for 20 minutes. It's torture when you have to sleep in shifts because there's not enough space, because there's so many men in a fucking cell. That is torture, in my opinion. Try it for a while. A cell full of, I don't know, 30 men, 50, 20. Not enough room for you to even lay down. You have to wait till someone else is done lying down, and hopefully you get a turn to lie down and go to sleep safely in a room full of 20 or 30 men. Could be way more than that. How good of some sleep do you think you could get in that circumstance? Or would you have a heart attack before then? It's torture, man, and you would understand it's torture if you had to stand in a room so small that you had to take turns lying down. You would understand that's torture. Here's Tulsi at the round table. Again, these cabinet things they do in the morning at the round table with all the cabinet members all kissing ass and seeing who can deliver the most cruel or evil information. Here's Tulsi. Electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country. So again, they're telling you what they're going to do. They're going to get rid of electronic voting and make it paper voting, and they're going to rig that too on top of it. If there's ever elections again, I hate to break it to you, they're going to be so utterly rigged that Donnie will get like 97% of the vote like Vlad Putin does. Or he simply just won't have elections. One of those two scenarios will, I promise you, happen, or both. Tulsi's letting us know that. Right there. Next election will be utterly rigged paper ballot, and you can do anything with that. Here's Hegseth delivering his at the round table, creepy Nazi-style performative used car sale meeting with the failing, dementia-ridden, declining geriatric Führer. Hegseth is talking about the Panama Canal. We're taking back the canal. He basically presented it like this. Like you wanted us to do. You instructed us to take back the canal. Then Trump said, we moved a lot of troops to Panama. That's after Hegseth explained what's going on. And what Hegseth said was, you instructed us to take back the Panama Canal. We're taking it back from the Chinese. We're taking it back from the Chinese communists. We're pushing them out. We're massing our troops down there. We've taken over areas that the communist Chinese had. We're pushing them out. And then Donnie kind of repeats, we've moved a lot of troops to Panama. I didn't know about that. just announced to the Fuhrer at the roundtable, creepy, disturbing cabinet meeting with all sycophants, not one individual there. They're all just a straight up sycophant loyalist to Donnie. They would shine his shoes on camera if he asked. I promise you. That's the level of sycophancy. But did you hear what I just said? We're pushing the communist Chinese out of Panama. Do you think China liked hearing that? Being called the communist Chinese and that America is pushing them out of Panama? I don't think that's going to help in the trade war. Maybe that's why China started selling treasuries tonight. That's some dangerous fucking rhetoric right there. That could start a war. On top of all the other wars he's trying to start in other areas over other assets that are coveted by the Reich, just like Adolf. Adolf had a broken country because of World War I, devastating economically to Germany. What's the solution? Steal what other nations have. That's what he did. That's what they're about to do. And we're the richest nation on earth. Donnie's making plenty grifting every fucking day. They're about to come out with a $5 million Donnie Gold card. We don't even need the territory. They just want it. Why? Because this is the apocalypse, and he's the beast. That's why. So one more time, Hegseth explains, we're pushing out the communist Chinese from Panama. Then Donnie says, we've moved a lot of troops to Panama. That's, that could start a fucking war, man. All this, what I just told you. And it's certainly not going to help with the trade war with China, which is going to devastate so many of your businesses out there, farms, etc. Because we still have that little problem. The market went right back down today. Because we have that, the China thing was factored in. Once reality set in. There's still 100 and some percent tariffs on China right now. That makes it impossible for many people to do business. Many people in this country that get their products from China. Here's Nutlick. We have so many countries to talk to. It's incredible. He's giving his roundtable, presentation to the Fuhrer. We have had so many countries to talk to. It's incredible. We're getting the respect we deserve now. And at the end of Nutlick's statement, he says, oh, and your gold card, the Trump gold card, that's coming out in a week and a half. We're working on that. We have a president putting out via the Oval Office a Trump gold card, not an America card, not a citizen card, not a patriot card, a Donnie Shitbags gold card that costs $5 million. And this motherfucker ain't a grifter? Seriously? So yes, Nutlick let him know that the Donnie gold card will be coming out in a week and a half. Then they asked Donnie about the market at the roundtable Reich meeting. Can you give us a reaction of today's stock market drop? The market ended up closing 1,014 points down. So what does Donnie say after a day of celebrating the market and saying we're setting records and didn't we do great? And he's boasting about it in front of the cameras. What did he say when asked about it today? I haven't seen it. Would you like to take that one, Scott? He put the question right on Bessett. Poor bastard. I don't know how Bessett hasn't resigned yet. He's crazy. GM to lay off 200 workers at all EV plant as it adjusts production. That looks like that. Donnie's doing great. More layoffs. And I'm sure in the article, I guarantee it said it wasn't because of the tariffs at all. It wasn't because of the market at all. We were going to do this anyway. No, they weren't, son. No, they weren't. This kind of detention. Are you down with this kind of detention for prisoners? If you are, I'd be real careful. This is not enough space for a human man to even survive. And these are the types of conditions people are being sent into as you laugh. Again, I'd be real careful. And again, some of these men in this picture, they may be very bad men. Does that mean they deserve to live like this? I don't think so personally. I think being in prison and facing that horror is horror enough. Don't you? Maybe we could take a few people out of that cell and give people just the tiniest bit of room. Because what are you really going to create in it? You're either going to create a dead man that doesn't survive it or a monster. That's all you're doing here. And I understand there's some very bad people in the world, but a lot of them aren't bad that are going to places like this because they need numbers, because numbers mean money. And I'm sorry, this is hell what you're seeing here. This is torture, not having enough space to even move, to even lay down. This is what's going on in these types of camps that everyone's ignoring and everyone's laughing about. And boy, it would not be funny if you were the one that had to go. And I'm talking to anyone that has a comment on this. It wouldn't be very fun if you were the one on the plane, you were the one had to go live in a situation like this. Could you survive it? No, don't even try and say yes. I'm not even saying I could survive it. But that's what it's meant for, to break people and to turn them into animals. And however bad they went in, when they get into this situation, it's only going to create a worse monster. That's all it's going to do. And there's no need for it. It's not necessary. Prison is hard enough. I think it's an appropriate punishment just being in prison. Throwing actual torture on top of it, that's a whole nother realm that you best be careful walking into if you're part of it. There's punishment and then there's torture. Difference in consequences on your head. So I'd be real careful about laughing about shit like this. Especially when some men in this picture are probably innocent. And in El Salvador, we know some of those people are innocent that are down there. And we slow dragging the return of one of them for some reason. I wonder if they're even alive. Wouldn't surprise me if they're not. Could you survive this? I don't think I could. A brilliant picture, again, anonymous posted. I used it as the thumbnail. And people, when they create things like this, they don't realize how spot on they are. Donnie is the beast. That's his daddy right there. They call him the dragon in the story. They call the beast by many names, the lawless one. The beast, the Antichrist. The dragon is the God the Father role in verse. That's the part he's playing. Donnie's playing the Jesus part. I guess that would make Leon the Holy Spirit part, huh? Alex Jones lost his appeal. Jones spent years calling the 2012 school shooting fake. Connecticut's highest court has ruled he must pay around $1 billion to the families. The court in Connecticut rejects Alex Jones' bid to throw out $1 billion Sandy Hook verdict. So Alex took a loss. I'm sure there's probably some other court he can take it to again. This will go on another 90 years and they'll never have to pay the money to the people he defamed. This is Miss Bondi again at the Roundtable Reich meeting. Daily Reich debriefing for the Fuhrer. And Miss Bondi is one of the most eager sycophants. She really enjoys this. I can hear the rage in her voice when she speaks. And what she basically told Donnie is they've made 4 arrests regarding Tesla violence, Tesla dealership violence, and we're seeking a 20-year sentence, and we're not making any deals per your instructions, der Fuhrer. Heel click, Nazi salute. No, she's enjoying this. I couldn't believe the anger in her voice as she said it too, like it's the most wonderful thing too. Again, she was like, we've arrested 4. Oh, I forgot the best part. She said, we're about to make another big arrest, a 5th arrest, and we will seek a 20-year sentence for that person as well. No deals per your instructions, der Fuhrer. I was like, oh my God, this a true believer here. This a real sycophant here. This woman is going to do damage. And she's going to do it happily. That 5th arrest, I expect, will be someone with money. So you people with money, you best be prepared for a knock on the door by Miss Bondi's people. They're going to take one of you away. And they're going to blame you for financing the Tesla violence and the lesser peasants that committed the violence, unless the acts were staged, which could be very possible in some cases. For sympathy purposes, for Reich purposes, I wouldn't put anything past these people or Leon. Miss Bondi, again, I want to stress this. 20-year sentences for vandalism this woman's going for. And no negotiation, she said. Der Fuhrer. The people that stormed the Capitol, rubbed shit on the walls, beat up police, they got pardons. They got called heroes and patriots by these people. Vandals are about to be handed 20-year sentences. And they about to, again, you rich folk out there, you better be worried for a knock on the door from Miss Bondi's people. They're going to blame you for financing this. She said it's going to be a major arrest, a big arrest, this 5th arrest they haven't made yet. We already know where that's going. Leon's already pointed the finger at a few of you, hasn't he? Some of his rich rivals that he doesn't like. Miss Bondi's going to be coming to knock on your door. But I always knew it would go here. And Miss Bondi's the one to do it, baby. Be careful. Stocks dive again as angst rises over Trump's trade war. Yes, we had a 3,000 jump yesterday after a 6,000 point loss over the span of days. Portnoy lost 20 million. Now we're back down over 1,000 the next literal day. This is Big Eric Swalwell. There is a special place in hell for the people who are willing to argue to the Supreme Court that the man they mistakenly sent to an El Salvador prison should stay there. Indeed, he who is for captivity, into captivity he goes, especially for an innocent man. That's real bad. And he's still there. And I see his wife begging for his return on TV. I see the Supreme Court say you got to bring him back. But no rush. So yes, there's a special place in hell. And I know Swalwell Ball, the Chinese spy. You think I don't know that? But still, there's a special place in hell for people arguing in favor of keeping an innocent man in an El Salvadoran death camp. You got a problem up here, son. If you down with that, you just have a problem. And I guess nothing I can say will ever help you or get through. But there's a special place. Don't worry. For you. Again, more World War III starting stuff here. The Trump administration is also studying financial incentives for Greenlanders, including the possibility of replacing the 600 million in subsidies that Denmark gives the island with an annual payment of about 10,000 per Greenlander. So here's 10 G's. Can we have your country now? That's where we're at, son. Here's a $10,000 check. We're just going to drill for oil down the street here, all right? It ain't going to bother you too much, is it? Here's another $5. You want to buy a Donnie Cold card for $5 million? That's where we at. They're talking openly about how they're going to persuade the Greenlanders to give us the country and what kind of money we're going to distribute to them after we steal it from Denmark. You know, in the image of Hitler or something. You know, that's the way our country's acting now. Our government's acting. Donnie's acting. With this shit. They've made it quite clear they don't want us owning them, and they don't want us there. J.D. Vance and his wife weren't welcome into one person's home or business. Not one. They had to go to a U.S. Space Force base, for fuck's sake. That's where they gave the little speech. Not one human in Greenland wanted to see them. They had to go to a place where the American taxpayer is paying men and women to listen to their superiors, and if they do not, we throw them in the brig. That's how unwelcome these cunts were, and that's how unwelcome we are, our government. Yet they still talking about it. What's that mean? That means the military is probably going to be involved at some point in this area too, to take this piece of land for the oligarchy that wants, drill, get the minerals, whatever Donnie can, grift out of it in access fees. Again, the market down 10.14 at closing. I guess Portnoy lost another 5 million. I don't know. I didn't check in on them. Oh, here's this phrase, Overton window. I've explained it to you before, and I've explained different people that have used it before. Hegseth just used it again today in an interview, it looks like on Fox News. And he says, we have a unique decider and commander-in-chief who is very good at moving the Overton window, creating the art of the possible for the art of the deal that nobody else saw coming. The Overton window, basically what's accepted as normal. Peter Thiel has used this. We need to, get through the Overton window or move the Overton window. This phrase keeps getting used by the Nazis. Hegseth, Thiel, and others are not the only two I've heard use it. So what does that mean? It's a standard uniform talking point that they want put out. That's what it means. And they, instead of just saying, we've got a president that's going way beyond what's normal and acceptable and traditional. No, we have a grifter and a mobster. But when you dress it up like this, when Pete Thiel with his little bit of education from South Africa, and Pete Hegseth with his little bit of education from Princeton or wherever he went, when you dress it up as, wow, we're moving the Overton window. Donnie's moving it. Pete Thiel says we need to move it. No, what they're really saying, and flat out to your face, is what you all find acceptable and normal. We want to do hard atrocities. And we got to make that normal. We got to move what is acceptable and normal to horror. And we've got to get the masses to accept that. They're doing it. They keep using the literal phrase, Overton window, on purpose. Because they don't just want to say, your normal groove, everything's calm, no one's trying to take over the world, all that. That's no good for us. We're trying to build a Reich here. We got to move what's acceptable. Donnie's moving what's acceptable. That's what Hegseth is saying here. He's endorsing the religion of, let's build a Reich. Fuck the Overton window. Fuck what's normal. Fuck tradition. Who's about that more than Donnie, son? Who else says fuck tradition more? And guess what else? Guess where else you see that concept? In the story. The guy changes the feast days, changes all kind of normal, acceptable, beloved traditions. Just changes them on a whim. Who else has done that as a world leader that you can think of? What name comes to mind first? Oh, well, Donnie Shitbags. He loves just ending things. Gulf of America. That's a perfect example of, really established traditions that no one really has a problem with. Donnie just alters it. In his image. Gulf of America, because I'm America. Donnie's America. That's what he thinks. That's how he operates. So the Overton window has gotten moved since 2015 quite significantly, I would say. What's acceptable, what we all tolerate as normal. Oh my God, has it changed? Think about what your life was like in 2015 and what government was like before Donnie came along, and think about what life, our country is like now. Look what they've done in 2.5 months. Everyone hates our fucking guts except Russia. We're in trade wars, tariffs, Dow plunging, death camps in El Salvador. Allegedly, there's a guy down there still alive that we need to bring back that they don't want to bring back. Look what's acceptable now in comparison to 2015 before Donnie took office. Think about how much has changed, how far the decline has been into accepting a little more authoritarianism each minute or day. Now we're at the death camp stage, where they just grab people off the street, transfer them 9 times to 9 different locations in the span of 4 days, maybe possibly send them to El Salvador or somewhere else out of the country. Already there, son. So yes, the Overton window has been moved quite a lot, and I'm sure Dugan and Thale and Hegseth and others are quite pleased with what they've done. The New York Times even making it normal. This is what I'm talking about, normalizing things. President Trump's goal of claiming Greenland for America has shifted from rhetoric to official U.S. policy as the White House moves forward on a formal plan to acquire the island. Annexation, you mean? Possible war with Europe, you mean? Over Greenland? Because that's what we're really talking about here. Taking someone else's territory, stealing it, like Adolf Hitler, like Vlad Putin. Normalizing it. This AI and power plant thing, here's Donnie. We're letting people build their own power plants. A lot of them are being built with the AI and beyond the AI. Chips. We're letting them build their own power. Never been done before. They'll sort of be their own power company. They couldn't believe it when I told them that. Every time Donnie talks about the AI and data centers and the power plants next to them, he doesn't like to talk about it long. And I can tell it by his body language when he does talk about it that there's something very nefarious going on. Donnie's not good at hiding it. And he wanted to kind of change the subject. And he stumbled on his words with once he said AI, he realized, yeah, I really didn't want to talk about the data centers and AI. I just wanted to talk about the power plants. But remember the idea that's been floated several times now. Data centers for AI infrastructure with a power plant right next door. Why do you need a power plant right next door? One, why do you need a data center? What fucking data are we talking about here? Why do we need 500 billion to build it all? What the fuck are going to be in these data centers? What data are they going to be collecting there? I'm afraid to find out. Every time he talks about that, his body language tells me it's utterly nefarious. Again, I think the image will be the AI in Donnie's image. And these data centers are so vital, they want power plants right next to them. In other words, this infrastructure for AI, the Starlink satellites around the globe that Leon keeps launching satellite after satellite after satellite for global coverage. The data centers and infrastructure they're building outright for the AI. This thing will be like God. It'll be able to be everywhere it wants and do whatever it wants and monitor everyone it wants. It's not a human. It can be everywhere. It could police everybody. It could teach our children what the Reich wants them to learn. It can do so many things. It could attack our enemies on its own if programmed to. It could attack you and me because we violated the law via one little personal drone. Wouldn't take a lot of money. It could go to a really bad place very easily, and the technology already exists. Not 20 years from now. Now. So again, when he talks about these AI data centers and AI infrastructure and the power plants next to him, his body language gets like, it changes. And I can tell that Donnie knows he's doing something really bad with this thing. These data centers and the AI infrastructure and the power plant. Something really nefarious. Ontario measles outbreak grows to more than 800 cases. 800 cases, son. Did you hear me? 155 new cases in Ontario during the past week alone. So far, 816 cases of the highly infectious disease have been associated with the outbreak. This is really going to piss China off right here. Again, this is real escalation if they do this. Trump is considering delisting Chinese firms from U.S. exchanges as Treasury Secretary Bessent says everything is on the table. If they pull this move, China gonna get real mad and they're gonna do something financially terrible to us. Maybe that's the point, to tank the dollar. Maybe that's what Donnie's trying to do to get us on crypto. I don't know. There are 286 Chinese companies listed on U.S. exchanges with a combined market cap of 1.1 trillion. Donnie just going to take them off the list? Do you know how enraged the Chinese will be if Donnie dares fucking do that? It won't be good. They will want retribution for that. Trust me. Now Donnie's in a fight with Brooke Rollins, and Donnie are in a fight with Mexico over water now. I'm going to read a little bit of his comment. Mexico owes Texas 1.3 million acre-feet of water under the 1944 Water Treaty, but Mexico is unfortunately violating their treaty obligation. Donnie basically goes on to say in his long-ass psychotic rant that he'll impose tariffs, he'll do whatever he has to do. They need to honor that 1944 treaty. They need to give the water back to Texas that they owe. I've never heard of this. I don't know what the fuck it's about. And it just sounds like a way to start a fight with Texas, possibly a war. I don't fucking know. It's ridiculous. Again, I'm sure there's some nefarious fucking purpose with this. Where the hell did this come from that Mexico owes Texas water now? It's just an excuse for tariffs, for grifting, for a possible military incursion. Maybe we bomb some cartels or whatever. Donnie, at the point I'm reading you these to show you that he's stirring up trouble around the world, even with our immediate neighbors. I mean, wars on every front are possible with all this rhetoric. Here's the next leader of Canada, most likely, I hope. I consider him the leader of Canada right now, actually. He deserves the position. I can tell he's smart. He's good at politics. He knows how to be kind of a man of the people a little bit at the same time. He knows how to speak to people. He cares about his country, I can tell. He's not on the fucking grift, I can tell. He's a much better man than we got going. Better than the orange guy we got. And he's saying this, they'll never accept it, but everyone who cast a vote for Donald Trump did real generations-long damage to the United States and the West in exchange for essentially nothing of value. Exactly. What are we getting out of electing the Antichrist? Can you answer that question? Nothing but death, destruction, misery, chaos, division. That's all we're getting. Nothing else. And again, everyone's going to be crying at the end. And I mean everyone in the world. Because of what you put your name on. And what he's saying is literally true. And I've been saying it in a bunch of different ways. You gave your country away for nothing as if it were nothing. And you got nothing in return. In fact, you'll get death, misery, and destruction in return. Economic loss, problems, misery, evil. That's what you'll get in return. So I totally agree with the sentiment here by Carney. You got nothing of value for handing your country over to a traitor, con man, a million different things. The Supreme Court, following the Supreme Court's decision, Judge Paula Zinnes orders the Trump administration to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia as soon as possible. She gives the Department of Justice until 9:30 a.m. tomorrow to detail where Abrego Garcia is and the steps taken to bring him back. So just the steps will be reported tomorrow or the next day or something. Because again, there's no hurry. The guy's only in an El Salvadoran death camp. I mean, what's the fucking hurry? And he's already been there like a month. And again, I'm still wondering, is this man even alive? What kind of camp is this? Maybe it just ain't a holding camp. Or maybe it's so overcrowded you just die from heat exhaustion or God knows what. Or maybe they work you until you drop. So I'm really interested to find out and to hear from this guy. Is he okay? Is he alive? Is he dead? What's going on? Again, there's no hurry. We're just going to get a report on the status. That's all the judge ordered. That you have to let me know how you're going to get him back. You don't actually have to go get him back. I want to see how first. No hurry, he's only in a Nazi death camp. Is this the last thing? I hope. No, this isn't the last. Well, yes, it is. Again, I'm trying to show you that this weird, creepy entity in orange face has a need for worship. That's why he was chosen for what he was chosen for. That's why he was given the blessing. He's making people wear this now. The little gold Donny head instead of the American flag on their suits. Congressmen, senators, many of them are wearing this now. And what does Donny demand of people as you go further along with him? Well, you sacrifice more and more of yourself in service of sycophancy and worship of dear leader. That's what this is. Oh, take the America pin off and put my gold head on. I'm Caesar. What are you doing? That kind of ridiculous, unnecessary flattery, Donnie needs that. If I were ever the leader of anything, any country, king, anything, the last thing I would ever ask my people to do is say, you must wear a gold bust of my face on your lapel in service of me, in worship of me, in honor of me. Take our standard off your armor or your lapel there and put this gold bust of my face. That would never happen. No matter how much money came at me, power, whatever came at me, I would never require other human beings to wear a gold bust of my face in my presence. That is some sickness that you can't psychiatrist away, that you can't pray away. This person, again, the reason I'm telling you this, the reason I'm showing you this, is to show you this is the millionth example of how this person utterly desires worship and devotion. And that's where all this will ultimately lead, to worship. A temple on a temple mount in a place called Israel. This person will demand more and more worship from everyone. I'm showing you the evidence of it. What other president ever did this, son? Republican or Democrat, whoever did this? Nobody. Donnie's special. Donnie's different. He requires worship, needs it. Leon is the same way. Guess who else does? A thing called the dragon or Satan. He needs worship. It's imperative he be worshipped as God or do as much damage until he dies. That's the mission. Either be worshipped as God or destroy everything of God. Those are the two objectives. That's it. Nothing else. Here's some more proof of it. Again, Donnie in some kind of weird church service with a weird woman doing a dance with paintbrushes, and she eventually, as she's in the bliss and glory of the Lord, she etches out a painting of Donnie with the sky on fire. Again, this thing demands worship. And it's leading you more and more in that direction with shit like this. And it's leading you more and more as you, so many of you men out there and women since 2015, you've allowed this to take over so much of your life. You've made a religion out of it almost. Or maybe you fully have when you have 8 flags on your truck. When you have I love Trump stickers on your car. When this is all you talk about as if it's some glorious thing. You're not going to think it's glorious by the end, trust me. But by then it'll be too late. You've already had your name too far into it. You'd have already given too much. You would have already taken the thing you shouldn't take. You would have already worshipped the thing you shouldn't worship. It will be too late for you. So you need to stop before that point. Again, demands worship, and he's going to demand more and more of it till he gets you to that final place where what he demands of you will cost you everything. So get out of the cult while you still can, like I've been saying for so many years. And for the rest of you that aren't in the cult, I'm just here to guide you through it, like I told you. And I'm trying my best here, even though they hit the button on me again. I was getting a few views there for a minute. They can't have that. That's obvious. Demanding worship will demand your worship. I hope you don't give it to them, because what it will cost you when you cross that final threshold, you're not prepared to pay. No one is. So when that moment comes, when they ask you to denounce something and worship him and take this mark thing and switch over to this non-existent digital currency with fight, fight, fight on it, I hope you don't go along. I hope you see I hope you get the creeps from it like I do. Shit like this. None of this is normal, not even close. The reason it doesn't make any sense is because it's supernatural. Whether I want it to be, you want it to be, what political party you believe in, what religion you believe in, none of it matters. All that matters is this is your paradigm. This is what you're in. You better acknowledge it, because there's going to come a point where it costs you everything. It's already cost all of us so much. Anyway, until the next episode.